Okay, now, when you buy a scanner, for example, an Epson scanner, like what I have here, which is a brand I highly recommend, especially for your flatbed scanning. In fact, they are really moving up there. Every scanner comes with software. They call it a driver. You install it. What I prefer to do after I install it is I work directly within the scanner software. Do my preview, do very little color correction, very little changes, maybe no changes. And then I save the pictures. Now with this scanner, we can do our preview. And it's going to scan everything that's on the bed. When I'm done scanning, I have the scanner software save each picture to my hard drive for me to work on in another program, preferably Adobe Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. You can also use Paint Shop Pro, GIMP. There's some other programs out there to use. Now we see 4 pictures on the bed. Now the only problem is the glass. Here's something they don't tell you about the scanner. The glass is very tall, so you think you can fit all 4 pictures on the glass. But if you notice, I'm going to preview it one more time. When it refreshes, it shows all 4 pictures, but the pictures at the bottom here are cropped. Okay? So the scanner bed, they say it's so tall and so wide, but actually it's not. It's actually much smaller. So this is something that can bite you at the end because you think, okay, I've got them all, but actually you've just cropped their feet. So in this case, with these pictures, I will just scan 2 at a time. Okay? So I'm going to take off 2. 1, 2. Take these 2 and place them more in the middle. And you all will see this on screen, exactly how I placed them. This way, when you put them in the middle of the bed, there's more coverage and there's more detail. They don't tell you this, but there's fall off on the edges. There is some detail that will get lost on the edges when you scan the picture. So what I like to do, I like to take 1 or 2 pictures and place them right smack in the middle of the bed. Now, that can be a little annoying because it may not be perfectly straight, but you can fix that later. So in the scanner preview, I set my crop marks. I'm telling you, okay, now, Mr. Scanner or Mrs. Scanner, I want you to get just this area that I'm outlining. And I'm going to give it a little more room. I'm going to crop a little bit outside of the limit of the picture because I can do a final crop later in my photo editing program. Then I'm going to set my second mark. This is for the second picture. Now with the Epson, it automatically lets you select 2. So it's going to scan both at the same time. I'm telling it, get ready because I got 2 pictures for you. However, like I said, you got to be careful making changes in the scanner with your picture. So I click on the top image, and you notice the marching ants are now going around that top image. That means this one, whatever you do, whatever you specify, it is going to apply that to this part, to this picture. Now here's the part that trips a lot of people up. Right here is we have resolution and document size. Resolution should never be any less, no less than 300 pixels per inch. Now, some people say dots per inch. That's a misnomer, although you're really talking about the same thing. It's technically pixels per inch. It's kind of like, you know how people say, give me your PIN number. What do you mean my PIN number? You mean my PIN? Because it's personal identification number, not personal identification number. But it means everybody knows what it means. But actually it is PPI. Document size. This should be adjusted in scale or magnification. I prefer to keep it at 100 or 150% of the original size. You have some 4x6s. Maybe you might want to enlarge them later. Okay? Maybe not. If you know for sure that you're not really going to enlarge them, keep them at 100% or a little higher, maybe 150. And notice when I changed it from 100, which was 4x6, you see where I'm pointed here. When I go to 150, it changes it to approximately 7x10. It is so important for you to realize that if you want to make a small picture bigger, you've got to do it in the scanner. You can't do it after you scan it. Well, you can. You can do whatever you want. But it's going to be a little messy looking. And I'll demonstrate that to you in a second. So let's just do this one at 100% just for time. Let's check some other settings down here. Adjustments. Now, HP will call it something different. Some other brand will call it something different, but it's generally the same thing. Adjustments, I leave them all off. I don't do any adjustments unless it's something that I'm scanning out of a newspaper or a magazine, something that was printed, okay, that has a screen pattern in it. In that case, I would use the descreening filter. But I will not use any of these other corrections. In fact, if I'm able to, I'll go into the custom settings down here in configuration. Let me zoom in quick. Some may call it preferences, depending on your software. And color control, no color correction. I don't want you doing any color correction for me, Mr. Epson. I'm going to do my color correction. You want to have full control over these things. Because I guarantee you, when you do, it'll be easier for you to solve the problem. Because eventually you'll run into a problem. You say, well, the picture doesn't look like this. The original, why does it look so bad when I scan it? Typically it's because you got auto settings. Now this picture down here at the bottom, this one, for demonstration purposes, I want to change the scale to 25%. So it'll be 1.5 by 1 inches. Okay, I know that you won't do that. I'm not recommending you to do that. I just want to show you when it's done scanning, what happens when I blow it up to a 4x6. Again, we're working in the scanner software. We haven't even gotten into Photoshop yet. I shift in Epson, I can shift click, and now both of them have marching ants. I shift click on the other image. Now both of them are selected. Now I'm telling Epson I'm going to scan these. And you have to scan both of them. So I hit scan. And we are going to put Shelly for the prefix and save it to a folder. IBGS scans, but you call it whatever you want. And we'll start it at number 1. This will be the first scan. And then every scan after, this driver will remember, and it won't name it 1, it'll name it 2 automatically. Okay? This is what you get in the Epson driver. It's very nice, it's very customizable, but it's sometimes you can't see it because they have what you call auto modes. And that's where you get tripped up, is in the auto modes. So I like to just control the whole thing myself. And oftentimes when I get a call, from a student or, and they say, yeah, this color's looking horrible, I can't get the size right, this and that. I say, well, let's turn off the auto settings. Let's go into preferences and